With the global economy not in the best state at the moment, you might be wondering if there's any way you can make some money using your creative skills. When I first started out doing lettering, I thought it was only going to be a hobby and nothing more, but over time it became and still is one of my main sources of income. In this video, I'll go through 5 different ways that you can start making money with your hand lettering. And I'll give you some of my experiences, both positive and negative, trying to earn an income from these avenues. So let's jump in, and the first one is selling prints. If you create your own lettering artworks to post to social media, you can use these pieces to make you some money rather than just sitting on your feed. You can go about this in 2 different ways, either using a print-on-demand service or creating, making and selling the products yourself. The simplest and easiest and less stressful one is using the print-on-demand service. You take your design, upload it to their platform and choose which products you want your design to be printed on. To sell the products, you can set up a shop on some of these platforms or create your own Shopify store and connect it to a print-on-demand service. The positives of this method are you don't have to spend anything up front to create the products. You don't have to store, package and ship the products, and any returns are done using the print-on-demand service. The negatives are you only get a small amount of revenue per item sold, so you'd need to sell quite a few products to make a good income. But if you create something that really resonates with people, then it can definitely take off and sell in the hundreds. With making your own products to sell, you need to invest some money up front to get the items printed, or purchase the materials if you're making them from scratch. Along with that, you need to get envelopes, boxes to ship them, and also to find somewhere to store them. You'll need to set up your own shop via Squarespace, Wix or Shopify, for example, or you can use an online selling platform like Etsy. The positives of this method are you get to control the quality of the goods that you make. You get to keep a lot more of the earnings from each sale, and you can use the products to sell at local craft events as well as online. The negatives are of doing it this way, you have to be confident that there's either an audience or a market for what you're selling, and you have to be your own marketing, customer services and fulfillment personnel. As I said, you have to invest money up front, and if no one buys your products, then you'll be left out of pocket. If, like me, you need to ship most of the orders overseas, then this becomes expensive for either you or the customer, and also adds to the time it takes to arrive. To give you an example of how this can go wrong, a few years ago I decided to get a couple of my lettering pieces screen printed to sell. I guessed at what artwork people would like and then sent it to a local screen printers to get 100 copies of each design done, and that cost me a total of £568.80. On top of that, I spent another £50 on labels, cardboard tubes and clear plastic slips to ship them in. I sold a grand total of 15 prints, which came to about £300 minus the shipping cost. So after all that work and money, I'm left with a load of prints gathering dust and cardboard tubes filling up my attic. I know many artists that have made a successful living selling their own prints, but make sure you do your research into what your audience likes and is prepared to pay for. Even when you get the comments left on your social media saying, I'd buy a print of that, people don't always follow up what they say with their wallets. So let's jump into number 2, which is looking at commissions. People are always after one-off bespoke handmade crafts, gifts or services. This could be using your skills to write out wedding invitations or place names. Next year is definitely going to be busy in the wedding sector due to all the COVID-19 cancellations, so mock up your own versions to show off the skills you have. Special one-off gifts such as lyrics to favourite songs, motivational quotes and Bible verses are becoming more and more popular than buying mass-produced generic items from a store chain. These could just be written on paper or card, or sometimes, as I've found, effective on interesting objects like a sewing loom, guitar or saw. Hand-lettered logo design is very sought after, as people love the personal touch that hand-lettered logo can give to their brand. Get some experience first by offering to redesign a friend's logo for free to start with, to get your name out there, as word of mouth is still one of the most powerful tools for promotion. Let others know that you're available to do this kind of work. One of the best ways is by using Facebook. At the start, it's great to do stuff for friends and family, especially as they will share it to their connections, and because a large proportion of your friends may be local to you, which makes the whole process of making and delivering the items much easier. Now let's move on to number 3, which is making fonts. You might not have considered font making something you would ever do, especially when you look at the typefaces that dominate the design environment. Fonts like Helvetica, Futura, Gotham and Times New Roman, to name a few. And that's how I felt when most of my design life, until a friend convinced me to make one from my hand lettering. The area that most of my fonts land in is the sort of display type category, rather than being something that can be used for both small size copy and large headlines. My fonts are designed specifically for current trends. These would mostly end up on something like a book cover, poster, logo or website header, where the designers are looking for a font with some of the artistic side to it to catch the viewer's attention. Trends are always changing, and that's why there's always a need for new fonts. Using your lettering in a font is a great way to create an asset for yourself to sell to other designers. I've currently created 16 fonts, which are on a range of different selling platforms as well as my own, generating income in the background each month. To give you some idea, my first one, called Warrior, an all caps vintage inspired font, has made me about £3,000 since I released it. My second one, called Smoothie, a monoline script font, did much better and has sold over $36,000. I'll link to a video I made going through 7 ways to start creating your own fonts so you can begin to produce and sell your own. So number 4, digital products. This is an area that I've had the most success with, and is a reason why I've been able to pursue lettering as a full-time career. A great thing about digital products is that you don't need any investment up front. They don't require items to be physically shipped to the customer, and there's no limit to the number of units you can sell. I started my journey into digital products about 7 years ago, opening a store on creativemarket.com and selling vintage logo templates. This brought in about $200, $300 per month. And as I'd recently gone full-time freelance, having a small proportion of my earnings that wasn't reliant on client work felt really good. This then took off and went from a small side business to a full-time income when I realised that the products that sold the best were the ones that looked for current trends or effects and turned them into a tool that other people could use. For example, a few years ago, chalkboard lettering was a really big topic. There wasn't much around for the iPad, with the Procreate app only having one chalk brush as standard. So I set about making a whole chalk set using actual chalk textures and scanning them in and turning those into brushes. I added to that included guides and resources to help people get the most from these tools. Something that helped sell this product and most of the other ones that I'd made is that they are specific, have a specific focus to them. In my case, they're mainly centered around the topic of lettering and typography, rather than being for a multitude of creative uses. This also helps when trying to promote it, as you can use it in your social media posts as part of your process anyway. Another path I go down to create products is by solving frustrations that other people are having with their work. So an example of this is a product I made with lettering artist Stefan Kuhns called Grid Builder. We asked people what their biggest frustrations were when it came to lettering, and the top one was composing layouts. So we made a collection of grid brushes for Procreate, which people could place together to act as guides when creating their layouts. So have a flick through places like Pinterest or Instagram to find out what is trending and see if you can turn these effects into a set of Procreate brushes, texture packs for Photoshop, or styles for Illustrator. Alternatively, take a look at frustrations yourself or other creators are having with their own work that you could help them solve. People are willing to pay money to save time, make their work look awesome, or to ease design headaches. Lastly, number 5, teaching. At whatever stage in the lettering journey you're at, there's always someone who's just beginning. So teaching what you know, however little information you think you have, is a great way not only to make money, but also to help people. I started off by putting together a small class on Skillshare, which anyone can do. You also benefit from the large audience, which is already there using that platform. If you already have an audience on your social media channels, you could use a platform like Teachable, which means you get more money per sign up, but you will need a way to market it so that people know it's out there. Another option would be to do one-on-one coaching sessions where people pay for a meeting with you via Zoom, and they can ask you questions, get advice and tips, and have you critique their work. YouTube would be your last option, but it takes a long time before you start to earn any money from AdSense, and sponsor videos can be few and far between. So not something you can fully depend on. But YouTube is a great traffic generator. So linking to other avenues like a course, merch, or digital products can definitely increase the number of sales you make, especially when you're doing dedicated videos around the topic that the course or product is aimed at. I hope one or more of those ways has resonated with you and has encouraged you to start earning some extra monthly income from your lettering skills. There's quite a bit of information here, so please do ask any questions in the comments, or if you'd like me to dive deeper into any of the areas I've covered, let me know and I'll make a dedicated video for it. But other than that, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.